In this golf bag, I have Ping's latest offering moving forward into 2023. And it's fair to say, it's going to split a few opinions. Now, once I adjust this to be just how I want it, this 2 doesn't matter anymore, because this could be a forgiving 1-iron. Guys, do not go anywhere. Today we are going to put this through its paces, both inside in the studio and out here at Waterfront Golf Club. A 1-iron. Yeah, I said that right. So Ping described this as a compact designed driving iron for the better player, also whilst featuring that special Ping forgiveness. Now that's all good and well. I'm going to talk through whatever tech is in this through this video, but this is the real story right here. This is the adjustment hosel, which means I can move this 2-iron from a standard 18 degree right down to 16.5 degrees. Now there's a few things I don't like about this, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll kick things off with a few positives, because my mum always said if you've got nothing nice to say, say nothing at all. For now. Right. A little bit of a slip there, and that didn't come out the middle of the face. But I'll tell you what, that feels like it's gone a very long way. This could be the perfect club if you don't like it in drive, you don't like it in hybrids, you don't like it in fairway woods. Something like this, which is a bit of a long iron replacement, could be perfect for you or for me. So we've hit a nice tee shot down the fairway there on this opening hole, but that's all good and well, guys. This club is not designed just to be hit off the tee, it's designed to be hit from the fairway or from the rough. So we're moving into winter now, and you'll see that the ground is a little bit wet. You're not always going to get the best lie you do want, such as that one. How good is this club from forgiving lies, from punishing lies, where you need that element of forgiveness? We've got 230 yards in here. That is a long way. Can this Ping I230 handle it? Now, straight away looking down it, for me, there's a glaring mistake Ping have made here. I'm going to throw it on screen now. There's too much offset for me. So Ping have said that this has reduced offset. They've said it's for a better player. But for me, you just sort of see that little kink in there, and it does put me off a little bit. The blade length's perfect. It's a nice short blade length. I totally get that. The top line is perfect. And another thing I think Ping have nailed is that Hybrid Pearl 2.0 black matte finish. For me, it just contrasts with that white bottom groove and looks absolutely fantastic. How will it wear in time? I honestly don't know. Ping are usually quite good at things not wearing from a finish. You see, the thing is here, I want to play a fade. I would always try and fade this with the wind. That offset's almost not letting me do that. Or is it? Let's see if we can fade this back. Oh yeah. Maybe the offset's not too bad after all. That is exactly what I wanted. And that's up on the right hand side of the green. Very, very safe. Now, the party piece for this is very much the adjustability. Once I crank this down, is it going to be an absolute machine? Is it going to be a bomb? Who knows? Let's go on that next tee. Let's play around with the loft and the lie angle, which you can do with this OptiFit system, and see just if this could be the perfect club off the tee for me and for you. Now, so far for me, I very much have mixed thoughts on this Ping I230. I have actually been inside testing it for numbers, and you definitely want to see what the differences are when I get the wrench out, so make sure you do stay tuned for that. We're going to do it in just a second out here in the golf course as well. It does have a forged miraging steel face, which is generally going to get you a little bit more ball speed on those off-centre hits. But for me, the big thing is it doesn't feel that good. It doesn't feel that soft. In relation to maybe a TaylorMade P790 UDI, it doesn't feel as good as that. It doesn't feel as soft. So it doesn't sound as good. Ooh, that sound. Right, let's hit one off this par 5 tee. Let's see if we can get a lovely high floating ball flight. Then we are going to move the loft down to 16.5 degrees. That's almost like some people's driver. And we're going to see if it plays a huge difference. Can we play Stinger season with this club as well? Right. The aim here is just a big high draw up the right side off that bunker. And that was toey, and that's absolutely fine. This is the big thing for me. Ping described this as a player's club. I almost think maybe they've gone a little bit too far with the description there, because it's still very forgiving. It's still almost everything you would want for a mid-handicap forgiving club. So another thing which I think is a slight mistake on Ping's part, you don't see on the outside what setting the club is at. So all you see is kind of, you can see that big setting there, the big circle, but it doesn't tell you what your loft's at, what your lie angle's set at, and that does totally transform this club. So hats off to Ping for the ability to do that. But you'll see there, that almost, has anyone seen The Matrix? Because that is, I'm a PJ Pro, I've looked at every single adjustment hosel you will ever see, and this is probably the most complicated, so you do need to know what you're doing with it, and we want 1.5 degree loft off. I'm going to keep the lie angle flat because we're trying to play a little bit of a right to left shot. If you do struggle with a certain ball flight, right to left or left to right, you can put it more upright or less upright. You could move it more upright, or you could even move it flatter. That will help with the movement on your ball because of the face plane tilt of the loft. Very scientific, I know. Right, this is now playing 16.5 degrees with a standard lie angle. Is it going to come out lower? It doesn't look like I've taken much loft off it, which is actually quite nice and helpful. I'm not going to change anything in the technique. Exactly the same toey shot, just a little bit lower. I'm going to be really interested to see just how far they've gone, because if I'm hitting a tee shot and I'm not happy with the strike it's come out the toe, is it going to maintain that ball speed? Is it going to still go 200 yards plus? Because if it does off that strike, then it could well find its way in my bag. So you can see here 2 tee shots very close together. The first one is in the left hand rough. It was a little bit more toey, there was more movement on it. The second one, which was the lower one, the more flighted down one, is in the fairway. Just a slightly better strike if I'm being totally honest. So the big party piece, as we've said, is the adjustability on this club. This isn't something that you do generally see in driving irons. We did see it actually in the TaylorMade Stealth driving iron, and back in the, who remembers the Gapper? Who remembers those? Comment below if you remember those. That was something which you could just turn it into an absolute beast. I don't think that's what I'm going to do here, guys. I have tested this with the loft down, so stay tuned for that. But the big thing I think you can do here, who sees the word lie there? We're going to change the lie angle here. All my shots have been turning over just a little bit. Yes, they've been struck toey, that's always going to be the case, but also that offset for me is just a little bit off-putting. So I'm going to put this at a flatter lie angle. Hopefully that'll just take away that little bit of right to left movement. I'm still going to have to strike it out the middle. The big annoying thing is you can't do this when you're playing golf. You can do it when you're testing it and in the fitting, and maybe if you know you're going to want to play a certain shot for a certain day. Thank you very much, Laura, that saves me losing it. But now this actually does look already better. Can we get this up there, play a nice big fade into the par 5? This would be getting on a par 5 in winter with just 2 2-irons, or a 1-iron then a 2-iron, because we changed the loft. Right, it's a little bit sat down in the rough. This is where a normal long iron wouldn't be that helpful. Just come back a bit. Come back a bit. That's done really, really well. And that was struck more out the middle. It was a little bit duffy, so we have got a bit of a flyer, but out the middle of the face, that ball has stayed nice and straight, which is exactly what we wanted from changing the lie angle. Is this the perfect club for everyone? Stay tuned and find out. Okay, so we have spoken about the adjustability element on the Ping I230. We've spoken about the forged face. Now, what else does it feature? We also have a lower CG for more energy transfer and ball speed, a refined torque compact shape, precision milled micro max grooves, small internal cavity with EVA polymer, improved sound and feel, which I'm not sure works that well. And then we also have the shorter club length for more control and the matte black Hydro Pearl 2.0 finish, which I have already touched on. That there is a green in under regulation using just the Ping I230. There's one test we need to do here, and it's stinger season. I mean, it's not, but if it is, who knows? Now, this obviously wouldn't be used here unless maybe you're really bad with your wedge, you'd probably just put it. But this is for an eagle with just this club, so we're gonna obviously have a go. Ah, dear. Now, the reason why the TaylorMade P790 UDI driving iron has been a staple in my bag for so long, I don't even really need to talk you through it, I'm going to show you, is because I can play this shot pretty much on demand, and I know it's very rarely going to let me down. Oh, that felt so good. Now, can I do that with the Ping I230? Like, this isn't a comparison video, but looking at those, you can really see how that sole's a little bit wider, the blade length's a little bit longer. Now, Ping claim this is a player's iron. Have they kind of got a little bit mixed up? I don't know. Can I play that same shot with exactly the same scenario? I think without this black finish, you know, I think they would be struggling with the size of it. It's very much G710, which were good irons, but high handicap irons. You know it's good, but it's not quite as good. It doesn't feel as good. And that one's even snuck off a little bit to the right. Guys, let's jump on the Trackman. Let's see what the numbers dictate for the Ping I230 in its standard 18 degrees. Then we'll crank it down. We'll check it in 16.5 degrees, see just how much more distance we can get with this absolute monster. So I kicked things off with the Ping I230 in its standard 18 degrees. And it felt good, the ball flight was nice, and it felt powerful. But then I thought, let's crank it down to 16.5 degrees and turn this thing into a weapon. Now the ball flight was noticeably lower, and it did feel like it was coming off a little bit further. So looking at the numbers in its standard setting, 230 carry, 252 total, 142 ball speed and a peak height of 100 feet. As soon as I knocked it down, you'll see the peak height was lower at 84. Actually gained 3 mile an hour more ball speed, but it didn't result in any more distance. A very similar carry and just a couple more yards roll out.